Um, Good evening, all. Hopefully, you can hear me all right. It's telling me that everything's going out. I've not muted myself, which is a win. So, good evening, all. Hopefully, it's working. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And the good news is I put it on low latency, so there's not too much of a delay I can see on my screen between me talking and seeing your chat. So, good to see you all. Yeah, so socially, just in case you're not sure, yeah, exactly as Chris says, it's a salute. So head and arm doing the salute thing. Good evening to Takes Deep Breath, Dark Matter, Socially, Single Track, Zavath, Chris, Sol Galaxia, Jodomo, Jay Grizz, Speaks No Evil, Shinobi Trip, Jason Hanna. There are a lot of people in, and it's really good to see you all. No, it's not a clickbaity title. There is a genuine reason that I've put that up, and a reason why I kind of want to talk about this with you all. But we will get there in not too long a time, I guess, and we'll have a chat about it all. Yeah, no worries. Bad with emojis and symbols, so socially, no problem at all. Last stream before CitizenCon, says Chris. Absolutely. And you know what? Whilst you guys are here, it's probably worth saying this. Normally, what we are going to do, or what I would do, is I'd have a Friday night ops where people can come and play, and I'm going to put myself in the centre because that's bothering me. There we go. We have like a community night where there's no streaming, it's just games on the DGP Discord server, which should be, I think, linked down below. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to cancel the recurring event that we have, and if on Friday when we're at Bar Citizen there's a bunch of you in here, I might just do a quick stream on my phone from wherever it is that we are drinking, in whatever state that we end up being, just to say hi to people. Really good question from Chris. Am I doing a stream on CitizenCon Sunday? So, good question. Good evening, Striker. Good to see you, mate. Good question. At the moment, no. That is unlikely to happen. So here's my thing, right? You guys know I do this for fun. I do this because I'm passionate about the game. I'm passionate about the community. And I'd like to think that I have a voice to add to what's going on. Taking partly from my military background, but also just as kind of like I hope, a voice of some reason and sanity in a sea of madness that surrounds Star Citizen. What I'm kind of... the reason I bring that up is because my main goal for CitizenCon is to meet people who are there. Okay, and to go and enjoy it as an attendee rather than as a content creator. And the reason for that is this, is whatever happens the following week, I know I'm not going to be back for a little while. When I am back, there's someone from CitizenCon coming with me. We're going to go do some really cool stuff here in the UK, which means it's going to be a little while, whatever I end up doing, it's going to be a little while before I manage to get any content to you guys. So it's pointless doing the news thing, right? Because by the time I get that up, it's going to be the weekend all gone. And, by then, 100 videos, 100 different creators will have dissected and given, all their clickbait titles in there. Oh my God, Star Citizen, best year for Star Citizen ever. Or, this sitcom's going to be a game changer, which I think they say pretty much every year. All that sort of stuff, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do more of a video diary. I've got a GoPro 12, I've got the creator's kit for it, so we're going to go round, we're going to do some stuff, and it's going to be a lot more of a personal journey recording, rather than a generic, oh my God, they said this new ship, is it worth buying? Right, I don't want to do that sort of stuff, because whilst I'm there, first night we're at Bar Citizen, there's a group of us going. I hope they don't mind kind of me saying, but there's a group of us from the community who are regularly in Discord. We're going to meet up. It's going to be me, Dell, Edison, Icecan. We're going to have a whole bunch of us. John Goodwin is there. And we're hoping to meet up with the Info Runners guys. Space will obviously be there. I've just, I've seen Morphologist is going. And I've actually bumped into a couple of those guys through my time at the Info Runners. So I'm hoping just to see people and have drinks with them, catch up, and just kind of enjoy the community spirit while we're there. What I don't want to do is spend a huge amount of time worrying about setting up interviews and getting people in the right place and have I asked the right questions and I've got a plan for this and a plan, and not actually just immerse myself in the event. And I think we can all see that, right? I've funded myself to go. Nothing from the channel has gone into it, so because it wouldn't stretch that far, But I'm getting myself there. So this is me as a hobbyist. This is me as a gamer wanting to go and enjoy it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some sort of video diary thing, because the other thing is being able to do any form of stream requires investment, because I need the network connection, I need the equipment to take up there, and as it is, I've got a lot of kit to lug with me, just my kit. There's some medical stuff I need to take with me as well, and that's got its own weight and all that sort of stuff. So I've got to be careful just how much I'm walking around with, right? So yeah, that's the plan. Try and get in on some of the bigger guys' screams if you can. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, the chances are, by then, I will hopefully be a little bit, with any luck. So, I don't I don't expect to spend the weekend drunk, but I don't expect to spend it massively sober the whole time either, and that's the fun of it, right? And I don't want to be worrying about, oh my god, where's my camera kit the whole time and all that sort of nonsense. I don't want to play that game. So yeah, we'll see how things go, we'll see how it all plays out. Looking forward to seeing what's there, and we'll talk a little bit about it, because I know I did a CitizenCon expectation video, but like everyone's done one of those, and there's a lot of them out there, so we'll talk a little bit and just talk about some interesting stuff I wanted to pick up. But yeah, hopefully that's okay with you guys. Give Crazy Algrid a hug, says Single Track. 100%, that's the plan. That dude will get a hug whether he likes it or not. Lol. So yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah. That's the plan. Hopefully that's going to be satisfying for everyone to watch. But primarily it's about going, meeting members of the community. Really excited to see. Good evening, Del. Good to see you, bud. And Soriak, sorry mate, I missed you. I missed you sneaking in there, but I've got you now. It's going to be really good to see people, so that's good. New patch on PTU just dropped. Yeah, that's the 324.2, isn't it? And we'll talk about that as well, because there's something coming with that you might have missed, but is worth looking at. Sebastian, good evening, bud. Good to see you. Yeah, while you are there, get videos of the BMM model that's supposed to be there. Everything. That's the bit that I want to capture, because I feel like even through CIG's own live streams, you don't necessarily capture the atmosphere of being in the queue and going and doing all that sort of stuff, going and walking around the event, how it looks like a Bengal, the private area, the premium area that I've got ticket to, and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be really good to kind of go and be able to capture that for you guys, and hopefully make you feel like you've seen a little bit more of the event than just what they stream on Twitch. So that'll be good. Star Stuff, good evening, bud. Drifter, hello. Star Stuff, was that you on the stream with Paul the other night? Because I missed it, but I've got it on my watch list ready to go. But yeah, if it was, then awesome. Looking forward to catching up with that. AV, good evening, bud. Good to see you. Bring us the vibe of the event and the community. We'll have plenty of time to to dissect the content later. Enjoy the moment first. 100%, Soriak. That's my whole plan. Is I want to go. I want to soak it up as a hobbyist, because that's what we are, right? We're all gamers and we want to enjoy it. I don't get the whole VIP stuff when it's not even that big an event. Last year, I heard VIP was empty. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, didn't go to the one last year. So I'm not sure. I think it's kind of just. I don't know whether there's going to be more display or whether it's just a separate breakout area that's supposed to give you a little bit of peace. I don't know what that area is, but it is on the map, so we can have a look at that in a little while, and see, whether there's anything there that's marks it out. Stagargod, hi, good to see you. Yeah, that may or may not have been enjoy that 4-hour marathon. Is that what it was? Because you guys were talking about why have my brain's just fried. Squadron, right? Is that the one that I saw? I kind of saw the I think I saw the post on Discord go up for him getting people to go and talk. But yeah, no, good. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what you all make of stuff. But yeah, I suppose I can change over to the map anyway and see if I don't. Yeah, I think I'm in a good place. Let's go. Oh no, I hit the start recording button. Oops. Ta-da! Okay, so here we are. CitizenCon. I know everyone's seen this already, but you know, just so we know, I think you can see my mouse now? Question mark. Yeah. So this is the VIP area here. I think that's the Addison Lounge with the UEE symbol. So this is this bit here, and that's the premium ticket holders. And all we know about premium tickets is there's. Let me get this straight. There's a little bit of extra physical goodies, including, although interestingly, I haven't seen it mentioned since the tickets first went on sale, but it had something about an autographed item of memorabilia. Whose autograph? Don't know. What's going on? Don't know. But yeah, that. And then obviously a little bit extra in the premium goodies pack. They are doing an early opening now. So the night before from 5 till 8, you can go and do your premium check, or you can do an advanced check-in. Everyone can, so you can get your tickets and all that sort of stuff, and then you just go through security on the day. So I think those of us that are, those of us that are going will probably do that the night before, just so we can get in as quickly as we can. So that'll be that. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing here for me is kind of you've got this bit here, whatever that is. Whether that's whether we're actually going to see something like an Anvil Hornet model made up, because of course they had a Dragonfly a while ago, or whether that's code for something that might be PCs to give Squadron 42 a try. It might be it might just be the Dragonfly. It might be something to give it like the Bengal theme, because of course that's the whole thing, isn't it? It's supposed to be the UES Barbary. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll figure out. We'll find out when we get there. And of course, if it is a Hornet, I'm going to go and sit in it, and then I'm going to refuse to get out of it, because what are they going to do? Because now I'm in a spaceship and they're not. Lol. That's if I can even fit in it in the first place. So yeah, all that to go as well. The one thing I think that kind of stands out to everyone is obviously there doesn't seem to be a place where there could be any computers to try anything. So we obviously had the computers at the last one, which was the Pyro tryout. There were computers back in 2019 for the Theatres of War. Does anyone remember that? You remember Theatres of War? So there was that. And we don't know whether it's been missed off of this or whether it has, whether it's just not there. We don't know. And there's no point. We pulled up Google Maps for all of 5 seconds until I kind of just went, do you know what? This isn't going to be to scale. We don't know what's in the rest of the building. So even if there are, even if there's bits of the building that aren't on this, that doesn't mean it's open to us. It could be offices. It could be storage space. It could be anything. So we don't know. We really, really don't know. What would be placed in the gallery? Which bit's the gallery? I know there's the is that the ship display, do you mean? Yeah, that's exactly what we said, Shadow Girl. Good evening, by the way. Yeah, the Hornet might be a symbol for something else. But yeah, there's obviously the ship displays, which I think whoever that was said about, Chris said about the Banu Merchantman model. So it's likely to be one of those. There's 3 of them that I can see at the minute. You've got one here, and one here. When we went in 2019, it was actually an ice sculpture of a carrack. Because someone, oh no, one of the staff nicked the top turret and put it in their drink. Which was just brilliant. But yeah, I'll see if I can find the images that I took of that, because I took some images and then uploaded it to the DGP website. So let's see if I can find that. Events, past events. Here we go. Bear with me 2 seconds. I know you can't see this, but I am getting there, I promise. Where are we? Yeah, so here we go. I'm just going to change you over again. So yeah, that's the Carrack ice sculpture. It's got the ramp down at the front here. I don't know if you can see that. The turret at the top, but obviously it was melting throughout the day. So by the afternoon, the turret was always looking sad. So one of the staff just nicked it and dropped it in their drink, and that was that. But that was very cool. What other pictures did we get? That was the main stage. There was stuff going on with Game Glass. That was mid booth. Whiteley's Guide with old Jax. Yeah, lots of fun. I forget which one it was. Out the prison one. I can't remember if that was the prison or the audio. I think that might have been the audio one, but that was the audio. And then the this was actually quite good fun. I know cosplay people just kind of roll their eyes and I'm not interested, but their cosplay demo was actually a lot of fun, or the cosplay competition was actually a lot of fun. Yep, and that's what the main room looked like, or the community booth and like the food and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, lots of fun. Tier Zero, hi, good to see you. Yeah, so that was a good time had by all. Do you think this will be the last Manchester sitcom as single track? I doubt it. Uh, I think. Well, I mean, I suppose it could be right, but my feeling is that we've got a long way before this releases, and you know, as long as sitcom continues to build hype for them and continues to be a positive experience, and more to the point, continues to make them money, they'll keep doing it. So yeah, I think it's important for them for the engagement. And the other thing that I found that I really liked was when I went the last time I went in 2019. I had a conversation with Todd Pappy that was really encouraging. I started talking to him, the staff behind me, because you're supposed to have 30 seconds with each person. I started telling him a story, and the staff tried to move me on, and Todd told them to stop because he wanted to hear what I had to say. And this was at the end of a very long day for them. So just, I know Todd's no longer with the company, but just that very small act of no, I want to hear what this person has to say about the game and about his journey in it. I find that really, really encouraging. You know, I managed to stop the bald guy with the beard and the glasses. I forget his name. The guy that worked on prisons. I stopped him and gave him a suggestion about how they can make the mobiGlass more interactive in prisons. It wasn't acted on, but you know, the fact that I stopped him, he was more than happy to listen. He was more than happy to listen to what I had to say, and you know, or at least he gave that impression. So that's really nice that we that they're willing to interact with us like that. So yeah, um, so yeah, Ray, no worries, buddy. Good to have you in. Glad to see you. They will move between Frankfurt, Austin, and Manchester. They likely won't do LA again. Um, no studio. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think they're likely to still do it. You know, obviously they didn't do Frankfurt, so there hasn't been a Frankfurt one for quite some time because it went 2019. Then it was not, obviously, for a couple of years didn't happen because of COVID, and then we had two US ones. I can't remember. But obviously last year definitely US. And that. So yeah, and there's Canada now as well. So we might end up having one in Canada, which would be really exciting because I haven't been to Canada. Um, then again, I haven't been to West Coast US either, so I'd be quite happy to go to both. And Frankfurt, I've been down the road at Hamburg, but not in Frankfurt. So yeah. Hey, Blamsmith, good to see you, mate. So yeah, move movies to terminals and hangars. Well, interestingly, what I said to them was they said that they wanted the location to be a mystery, for people to have to go like outside of the dampening bubble from Klesher to be able to go in contact with people in their mobiGlass. They said, however, they recognise that there's things like Discord and that where they can just say, "Hi, I'm in Klesher," and that sort of stuff. So what I suggested was, why don't they not tell you where you are? Once there's multiple Klesher facilities, you get moved to a random nearby one, and you've got to figure out which one that you're in. And then because if you can't tell people through Discord what you don't know, and that way then players, if they want to escape, would be forced to get outside and contact, or at least figure out from their mobiGlas where they were, because otherwise you can't tell your friends where to meet you. And it's clever ways of doing that. There's always going to be third-party software, and this is why I don't like the idea of coordinates and stuff in a game, because that means you can cheese what the game tries to achieve by just putting those coordinates into some other system. And someone will build it, right? They'll build a mod or some sort of system that allows you to pinpoint coordinates. So yeah, I think it's a bit cheesy. I like that idea of people not being able to, because that way then map data becomes part of the data running profession, and you've got to physically put that into a map terminal like they demoed at CitizenCon, which updates your map, or you've got to transmit it back to your org to show them this rich mineral vein that you've just found, or whatever it is, like the location of a crashed Bengal, or a derelict Bengal, that sort of stuff. That information becomes important, and then all of a sudden data running is actual information, not just cargo with different looking boxes. But I quite like that. But anyway, yeah, that's cool. The goal should be to make the social tools in the game better than Discord. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it would be very useful. I have a question. Is there anything in a modern Navy ship that swaps out if it fails, or is it all integrated and repaired? So, yes to both. So the idea with a lot of systems is that you can switch them out, depending on what that system is. For example, on the bridge, a lot of the consoles and stuff, at least a while ago, they used to be, you could just unscrew it, lift it out, put another one in, and it plugs in. Very much like your stereo used to in a car, if anyone remembers that. So you could do that with entire units. Obviously, the larger it gets, then no, the idea is that you fix it and repair it. But there is also significant emphasis put on redundancy. So steering gear, for example, the motors that drive the rudders that steer the ship, there are two. And that way then damage to one doesn't write off your ability to steer. Multiple methods of propulsion. Some of the ships that I were on what they call COD lag, combined diesel, electric, and gas. So we had diesel engines that would power the shafts through electromagnets, so that there was none of the vibration from the engine transferred to the propeller, which made us incredibly hard to detect for submarines. And then there was gas turbines that were basically marinized 747 jet engines that went through a reducing gearbox, and they basically just clamped on to the end of the propeller shaft and then spun. And that was where your power would come from, and your high speed. The downside of that being is you're noisy as fuck and everyone will hear you from miles away. Oh well, I would say demonetize the stream, but there's no ads, so woohoo! Yeah, crew swaps out to be repaired. Trust you to come up with the creepy stuff. But yeah, 100%. So that would be great, but cue 100 YouTube videos saying if this rock lines up with that guardrail, you're on Aberdeen, etc. Yeah, it would be interesting, right? But then, you're into this with regards to the prisons and not knowing precisely where you are. It's like, do you ask? Is there a way you can find out from the guards? Or, looking through one of the windows? Is there pattern recognition on the colour of the rocks and whatever else? There's all sorts of things that you can put in there that would be quite good fun to muck around with. But yeah, no worries, man. You're all good. Yeah, we have many stereos stolen. Yeah, absolutely. Am I the only one concerned that there's only one restroom facility on an Idris? Seems like that would be a long hike in an emergency. It depends on your emergency, right? Normally in that sort of situation, the captain will have their own head. But in a normal warship, you have separate levels of accommodation. So you have the officers' mess, you have the senior rates mess, the junior rates messes, because they have individual ones, and then you have the captain will have their own cabin and their own facilities. Interestingly, on warships, the captain is also the only person on a frigate or destroyer with a bathtub. And there is a reason for that over and above we give them the bathtub because they're the most important person on board. It's for if anyone falls in the water as a man overboard, go away. The bath is used to bring them back to temperature. So you can put them in with increasingly warm water to bring their core body temperature up. So yeah, useless factoid for you. If that ever comes up in a pub quiz, not that it would, you now have the answer. Congrats. Free. I was watching the Battleship New Jersey YouTube channel, so socially confused, and the redundancy was crazy. There are over a dozen ways to fire the main guns, just in case 11 failed. Yeah, that. 100% that. Yeah. Everything. That's the thing about warships, is they're designed to take hits and keep going. So, yeah, there's redundancies all over the place. The other thing that's in them, and I asked the Navy about a while ago about maybe working with them and getting some footage on their ships. Unfortunately, I chose the wrong ship. I chose one of the new ones, and they are understandably guarded about the new ships. But I'm going to go back to them and see if I can, because it's worth seeing all the damage control things. You can imagine if you lose power, we can run power cables. But that's also a problem, because if you run a power cable through a door, the door has to stay open. You can't just close it. So, and that's a problem then if you have smoke or water moving through the ship. An open door means that smoke or water is going to move through it as well. So what they actually have is they have sockets on either side of the wall, and you just clag it onto one side, clag it onto the other, and that way the door can remain completely sealed, and yet you can still run power through the ship, which is quite clever. And stuff like that is kind of the level of damage control that warships go to. There's also the damage control school here, and that would be really cool to get some footage inside of like the firefighting and the flooding stuff. But I'll see. We'll what I want to do is I want to get some footage of one of the warships that is like public, and then kind of put a demo together for them and say, this is what I want to do. This is the sort of thing you can expect from me. But I probably need a slightly bigger channel to achieve that, because I don't think they're going to be overly moved by someone with under 3,000 subscribers. So that's a really good hint, if you're here and not subscribed, to click it, because then warship content. Woohoo! Yeah, that's so cool. Tier Zero says it's definitely the sort of thing they need, though. Otherwise, after a while, the more you go to prison, the quicker you can escape. It's like second nature, running the escape. Yeah, agreed. And there's all sorts of things that they can do to make it more interesting to escape, or more varied. But that's probably the content. There's probably content for another day or another video, even. Blandsmith says, do you see the SRV as a long-range tug or as a short-range recovery vehicle? The concept listed it as long-range, but CRG have just made it very short-range. I think at the moment we can't really read into a lot. I think if the concept says long-range, then that's what I tend towards, because everything at the moment is going to change. And there's big changes coming with the fuel and everything else. And, they're not going to stay the way they are, because they don't make any sense the way they are at the minute. But, bear with it. Just ride it out. Sorry, Synthetigek. Sorry, mate, if I'm butchering that name. I'm hoping I'm getting it right. But good to see you. Do you think it was wise to release the 4.0 Evo before next weekend's activities? The feedback has been tepid. Yeah, so I think CIG know what they were doing. There was a lot of content turned off in the 4.0 Evo test. It was basically four 100 player servers meshed together. They're just testing it to make sure that the core stuff works before they turn on everything else that might break it. And that's what you do, right? This is a very common thing with warships, is you bring one system online and then you add systems on top to find out where the fault is if there's a problem. That's exactly what they're doing. It was never meant to be a content test. This is the whole point of Evo. I think what content creators are doing, and this speaks to the title of the video or the stream, because this is where we're going in a minute. What content creators did was they wanted it for content. And what some of them need to understand is that not all of the tests are going to be good for content. Not all of the tests are there to give them something else to click, for people to click on. That is not what's happening, like, at all. That's not the that's not CIG's intent right now. So yeah, I think, if they get an Evo patch or something that's good for them and gets them lots of clicks and lots of views, that's great. But you can't expect it all to be built that way because we're not at that stage yet. I would much rather them have 100 tepid 4.0 tests than the launch of 4.0 be anything like it was in 3.18. We can't have it both ways. We either want them to test it to the point where it works and works reliably, or, a test with everything else switched on, I'm guessing, given the fact that they did it this way, they're obviously trying to find the problem with something. So they're like, hey, we turn all the other features off, we just do the basic. Is the problem with the core code or something else? And I'm sure they've got a better answer for that now. So yeah, as tepid as it might be, would we be frustrated if they said, hey, we could have done this test 2 weeks ago, but we didn't want to screw up CitizenCon? I think that would have got its own poor reaction from the community. So they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't sometimes. And I've just spilt a little bit of my drink. So I shall... I was about to say suck the head off it, but I'm not going to say that because that would be bad. I'm going to drink a little bit of my drink so I don't spill it on myself anymore. Brian Bull, welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, so there's that. Blounsmith says, okie doke, cheers, gives me a little faith. In the meantime, I'm going to have to melt it as I can't reach the other side of Stanton in it. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of that going on at the minute. So, yeah. I really think they shouldn't have content creators in Evo, like they missed the point. I mean, yeah, the other thing is if you have content creators in Evo, you kind of want them all in Evo, because I know it's an uphill battle for me to get there, right, and to get eyes on any of this stuff. So if I want to report on any of it, I'm behind the 8 ball immediately, and that's just a whinge from my point of view. But it is a whinge, and I think it's a legitimate one. But yeah, I think that's the other thing is maybe lifting the being able to talk about it wasn't such a good idea. I don't know. Yeah, so it was pretty stable for a first patch, says Dodomo. I'm glad that's good news. Brian Ball says, my CitizenCon hot copium take, that's a very different thing than a hot take, they'll announce Nyx will release concurrently with Pyro for 4.0. That's not just copium, my friend. You are huffing the hopium there. What I am hoping, and I said this a little while ago, what I'm really hoping we do get is we get multiple systems next. And here's my reason for that. Every system connected to Squadron 42 will have the assets ready to go. Even if they don't have the whole planet done, like not in Planet Tech, like they don't need to know what the trees look like because they know what the trees look like. They don't need the texture for the ground because they've got the texture for the ground. They don't need the rocks or any of that stuff. They've got it all. So I'm hoping that very quickly we will get every system and then therefore every connected system that they need to make the link with Pyro and Stanton in the game in quick succession afterwards. I don't think that's unreasonable to expect if we take them at their word that they are building these systems that enable them to put, things in the game quickly and that sort of stuff. So here's hoping. Shadow Girl says, I'm certainly hyped for the 4.0 tests going on. Can't wait to explore Pyro for the first time. 100%. And same here. Not set foot in Pyro yet at all. That will be a video. And I don't know whether I'll live stream it because I'm on a 1 PC setup and it does not like playing Star Citizen and streaming it at the same time with the camera. Maybe I'll turn the camera off and give it a go, but I'll definitely do a video of my reaction going into Pyro. So yeah, Dark Matter says they're going to add all the systems they crafted in Squadron 42. So yes, woohoo! Great minds think alike. All fools never differ. It's one or the other, but we are on the same page regardless, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. But good luck, says Shadow Girl. Don't overdose on the hopium. Too late. All the hopium. So yeah. Blowsmith says, looking forward to playing Save Stanton mission. Right, we're going to come to that in a second, so I'll go on to that in a sec. Tom Van Duren, good to see you. Oh my god, there's a big jump in chat, so I've missed a bunch of stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to go back up if you said something. So yeah, Synthetic X says, absolutely agree, it makes very logical sense. Testing must push forward, but I wish they'd waited until there was more positivity to offset the reality of working on a moving car. Thank you. Yeah, no worries, bud. Yeah, and it's like I say, I think it's a damned if they do, damned if they don't. It's going to be negative either way. They've just got to decide which way they want to go. So yeah. Shinobi Trip. Halibut says they probably use an old build to test what they needed to test and not spoil anything because Evo leaks like Boromir drinking wine. That's an interesting mental image. Yeah, of course, now they've lifted the hiatus on being able to talk about it. You can't record, but you can talk. So you can't record footage, but the disclosure, the non-disclosure agreement doesn't extend to talking about what's in patches anymore. So yeah. P8 AR mags are 150 AUEC per. Interesting. Wow. That's, yeah. I mean, it's still, I don't think it's expensive, but it's obviously a lot more expensive than the others. So before we go into the Save Stanton mission, I want to go on to the subject of the video, or of the stream, which is the CitizenCon warning, the one thing we need to bear in mind, all that sort of good stuff. And it's this. That one thing we have seen happen time and time again with CitizenCon and with everything in the game is people work themselves up into a frenzy, often led by content creators like myself, who talk about expecting something and they give all these reasoned arguments for why they think that's going to happen and all that sort of stuff. And then when it doesn't happen, people act like it was promised. And people get disappointed. All I will say is the only things that we know for sure that are coming is the very, very kind of, I guess, vague outline of the events that we have on this. That's it. That's all we know for sure. And if it doesn't specifically state it, we don't know that it's coming. We are all convinced, I am sure, that the redacted section is something to do with Squadron 42, because it would be really disappointing if it wasn't. I mean, it might be something in the Stars My Destination, Star Citizen 1.0, because I think that's 3 hours before it's due to shut. Venue closes 2:30, yeah. So, I mean, I think they stop presenting at 2, and then they boot everyone out at like half an hour later or 15 minutes later, something like that. So yeah, it's going to be quite that's quite a long presentation. There might be something in there as well, but people keep hyping themselves up for it and then convincing themselves that it was promised, and that's not the case. We don't know what is coming other than something about Beyond Pyro and whatever's Dressed to Kill is, and there's going to be a cosplay contest, and they're going to talk about some of the social stuff. But none of that, other than Star Engine. There was something else that they put. Was it Starware they talked about? Yeah, whatever. That's it. And I know, because I've done it to myself. I was thinking about this the other day. I've convinced myself that there is a Squadron 42 release date, or at least a release window, but I'm hoping a release date coming. And I've got to remember that they didn't promise that. So if it doesn't happen, sure, I can be disappointed, but it's not like a broken promise. It's not like they didn't deliver on something they said they were going to deliver. And that's the big thing. That's the other thing with the videos that are coming out. You'll notice that I called mine CitizenCon predictions, and that was very deliberate choice of words. The problem is that people keep writing expectations. So you'll see a lot of video that say CitizenCon expectations. Now, I'm not attacking those people. I'm not saying that they did it wrong. The chances are they just weren't really thinking about the word choice that much. But to someone else, to see a streamer or a content creator who have been in this game for a long time say that they expect these things, that's a different message to people who maybe aren't following the project as closely as anyone else. And they just kind of check in a couple times a year, like around Fleet Week, around IAE, and around CitizenCon. That's gonna hit differently, and people have to bear that in mind. We, as content creators, and I keep saying we because I include myself in this, although I like to think I'm careful not to do it, we have a responsibility to the community to not set false expectations. And a really good example of this was the F8 Lightning, right? It was said multiple times by multiple streamers that they promised they were never going to do that, and that was never said. Not once. They said we're not selling it, but that's different to we're never going to sell it. Yeah, if I say to you now, you can't buy the Zeus in game, I'm right, because you can't. But we all know you will be able to buy it, or rent it, or buy it, or whatever, in a couple of months' time. So I think people have got to be careful. And even then, at the time, there were conflicting statements said by both. So they said, you know, the amount of times they said never say never, but we're not selling it for now. And yet people just ignored it and went, well, you know, they said they were never going to do it. I don't mean to single him out, but Salty Mike, even in one of them, said he watched a stretch of the video. They said, well, we never want to say never. And he ignored that. And then they said, yeah, we're not selling it. He went, and it was like, but you just ignored the bit where they said never say never. Like, I don't understand how that's such a shock. So we've got to be careful, and I think that's the big thing, is that we've all got the streamers that we like to follow. We've always got that one YouTube content creator or a streamer that we go, I identify with them more than I do anyone else. I like their content more than I like anyone else. Just because that person has said, I think it's this, I think it's that, I think it's XYZ, doesn't mean that's the case. If it didn't come from CIG, we are just hyping ourselves up, and we need to pay mind to that. And hopefully I've not put anyone's. I noticed that I've not scrolled down to see that, but yeah, I think that's what I would say. Notorious, good to see you, bud. Hope everything's going well where you are, and that you're enjoying it. But yeah, that's that. Stakara, good. Thank you very much, mate. Badges, that's why we listen to you. I appreciate that, and I hope that's the. I hope, you know, that I haven't unfairly built up anyone's expectations about a release date, because that's not been promised. That's just my hope as to what's coming. So yeah, right. I'm just going to go down and catch up with all of the comments that I've not caught up with, and I've got to go up quite a way. So yeah, bear with me while I catch up with your stuff. If I haven't said it, this is why. Yeah. Synthetic X says, good thing I bought Hopium and Copium with my last visit to the pharmacy. Absolutely. Crikey, there's a whole conversation. And I need to catch up with it. I wonder if they'll ever allow us to fire a player out of a size 10 torpedo tube. God, I hope not. Yeah, there's that. Wait for it to be done and live before jumping to Pyro. Genomo, 100%. I'm not going to do tests. I'm just going to do it once it's live. So that's that. And then, you know, hopefully that'll be a fresh look. Be an ability to look at the new system through someone else's eyes. That'd be cool. Brian Ball says, I'm really excited as well. Currently drafting an in-law CDF up order for me and my friends to go into Pyro. Nice, Brian. I take it ex-military yourself, because you don't hear civvies talking about op ords too much, but nice. Appreciate that. Stanton Security and Logistics, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. During the Pyro playtest, I only went to Bloom because we've seen a lot of it on ISC, and I didn't feel like I was spoiling anything for myself, so Shinobi. Yeah, 100%. I think it might be quite good fun whether we get a group of us together and do some sort of how long can we survive, take supplies with us, and then everything we get within Stanton we have to take ourselves. Maybe we take a refuel ship and do like a whole expedition into Pyro. That might be quite good fun. Yeah, and if you fancy doing that, join Discord. I'll add you as a role at the end of the stream, and I'll let you know when it's all going to go live. But that might be quite good fun to do. Del, thank you very much. If you're enjoying the discussion, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons to show your support. That's from Del, not me, so it's not begging, right? Right? That's how that works. But thank you, mate. Make ammo craftable, add RNG to quality and jamming, etc. Yeah, I want to see games where crafting matters. And funny this, because as Shadowgal and I were talking about Star Wars Galaxies and how the crafting in that game is just, like, from my point of view, I know Shadowgal, I talk crafting and her eyes glaze over. But for me, like, Galaxies having the different crafting systems and stuff was just incredible. So yeah, I agree 100%. Patch just dropped for the PTU, says Sol Galaxia. Yep, so there's a 324.2 patch out. I'm just going to whisk this across. And then we shall have a look at the global event mission, and hopefully, and then whoosh, I'll make the sound effects because I don't have them myself yet. So here we go. There's this, which is the global playtest mission thing. But yeah, so there's going to be a whole new Save Stanton, which is a new global mission, dynamic event, I guess, global mission, whatever. And the first 4 phases will be going live. I don't know what it is here. It says something about cargo delivery was the first one. Mission items, so more items. Taking time to stream in. And then this one, terminal mission markers do not appear upon all terminals being hacked. So hacking then, although not the gameplay loop, I'd imagine you just go up and you click on something and use your crypto key and there's that, right? But yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then Slow-Mo at the bottom, shouting cheesecake at the top of his lungs, or her lungs, for absolutely no reason that I can discern. But, cheesecake. Yeah, so that. So yeah, new event coming up. Hopefully will be good fun. Join the mob. Absolutely. Zeus and 4.0 EPTU come out. So yeah, so the 4.0 Notorious was Evo. Which I assume is what you mean by EPTU. But yeah, Evo, the Evo stuff, not the experimental. Yeah, there's that. So that's good. The expectations are never based on what Star Citizen requires, says Dark Matter. You're right there, sir. There's a lot of reading in between the lines going on right now, says Brian Bull. 100% there is. You want a release date? Sure, Deja, if you can affirm it. I mean, right. Wanting a release date is probably the least realistic thing I've ever streamed about in a computer game, especially with these guys. Social Confused says, give clothing pouches and normal backpacks to use without armor and let us wear hats with armor. Yeah, what's interesting is once we know what's in 4.0 a little bit more, I did a big video on what we could expect from this year if they delivered everything that they said that they were going to deliver, not just from CitizenCon last year, but everything else that they said that would be coming this year. I live under a helicopter fight path. If you can hear the helicopter in the background, I apologise. It appears the military are out this evening. On a Sunday evening at 10 to 10, what are they thinking? They should be in the pub like normal human beings. But yeah, or here listening to the stream, because stream. So yeah, and I've completely lost my chain of thought. Yes, that video, but I'm going to go through everything that we thought we were getting and that sort of stuff. And do a comparison with what they have delivered and what they have yet to deliver. But obviously we need IAE because that's likely where the outstanding ships like the Fat Fury, I've got to keep saying that right because we got Luna in chat and I keep calling it the Fat Fury, which is something else entirely. But yeah, so we'll do some sort of comparison. But yeah. Some countries I disagree with, heavily disagree with a lot of the American ones. I don't know. I tend not to watch too many too many other content creators too regularly, unless it's for specific things, because I'm really good at absorbing. I'm really good at thinking over ideas and what people say, and then I find that a lot of what I say becomes heavily influenced by them. And I'm assuming you're here because you want to hear what I think, not what I've assimilated from other content creators. So I don't just want to regurgitate what I've heard and what I've been thinking about. I want to talk about what I think in isolation. So I don't tend to watch too much. Having said that, I did watch today Morphologius's video, Architect Reviews the Zeus. Yeah, really nice looking ship. I also got to watch Sol Galaxia walk around his Zeus for a while, and that was very cool. So thanks, Sol. Watch that for a bit. That was good. T0 says, I wonder when either the black or yellow dragonfly was the exclusive skin, only available at every sale, lol. Yeah, absolutely. New Argo CSVSM info dropped on pipeline leaks. Yeah, so I'm curious about leaks. I'm also curious about what CSVSM means. Anyone got any ideas? CSVSM? I'll let you guys answer that. That's too much brain power that I can't apply at the minute. So yeah. Anthony Gordon, hello, good to see. Says Star Wars Galaxies had one of the .adts. Yes, sorry, I don't get what you're getting at there. But that's just me. That's not you. That's me. But yeah, I think you'll get a chance with the coming of Xenothreat, very, very possibly. CitizenCon, i.e. Christmas holiday season, never got more expensive. Agreed. This one's going to break the bank, I think. Rash Mordor, hello Rash, good to see you, bud. Hope they make it so that there are unique items to Pyro never seen before. Not just junk, but quality things that are crafted in Pyro by Pyro people. Yeah, there's definitely going to be like the armor and stuff. Wanting to see that difference and then start to... I don't like you. I guess what you'll get. This is what you're getting at as well, right? Is not just a carbon copy of Stanton in Pyro with different planets but same everything. You want to see systems start to supply their own uniqueness, and you want iron, you want to go over there. You want this, you want to go over there. But like you say, items as well. That works a lot. Bucky Tin, good evening, and good to see you. Cheesecake is what those files were labeled. They were data mined ahead of time. Interesting. That's what the cheesecake. So there was a reason they were shouting cheesecake. I'm with you. Thank you very much for that. I'm with you. Good. So yeah. Sorry, I'm good. I yet to find a global event I like playing so socially. Socially, come and give Siege of Origin a go with us. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. If you don't enjoy the FPS, obviously you won't. But come and give Siege of Origin a go with us. We had a lot of fun with that last time. We even did a little bit of kind of building clearing training, although that kind of petered out. But I'd be interested in giving that a go again. So yeah. I just hope the kids don't notice the Christmas presents got smaller, says Chris. I mean, the kids should be grateful for what they get given, right? Bloody kids. Imagine if the CitizenCon memorabilia was the release date for Squadron 42, signed by Chris Roberts, and then imagine it gets delayed and everyone just posts it back to him. So he's sitting in the office and they're like, we got some mail for you. It's outside in 3 skips. And it's just these items and memorabilia mailed back. Gibb Squadron 42. Synthetic X says, it's difficult not to smile while saying cheesecake. I just checked in the mirror. Yeah, cheesecake. Cheesecake. It's a taste sensation. Any rumours on the photo op at CitizenCon? I love to see life-size Atlas suits like the Dragonfly. Okay, so bear with me just a second. I'm going to switch back across. Whoop. Just because I'm kind of a little bit anal about not showing the background stuff. Whoop, again. Ta-da-da-da-da. So this here is this bit is what we think the photo op might be. That's a Hornet. So whether that's code for something or whether they're actually going to have some sort of display there, don't know. But they had the Dragonfly before, so the Dragonfly might be out again. I very much... oh, interesting. There's a sim pit thing down here. which I guess is their like, you know, display of like Virpil and all that sort of stuff. Because I noticed they're doing some giveaways with Virpil, so it might be Virpil display giving stuff away, or you know, giving discounts, or just displaying their kit. Because whichever way, Virpil's some good stuff. So yeah, we'll see, but that'll be cool. Like I said, if it is a Hornet, I'm going to sit in it, and then I'm going to refuse to get out because I'm in a spaceship. You're not. You can't make me. So there. um. So yes, what you think? Because I like sharing ideas, not being dictated to. Yeah, 100%. And I'm never gonna bow to that. If you know, I haven't been reached out to by CIG, nor would I expect to at this stage. But about giving away ships or anything like that. But if that happens, if it's not no strings attached, I won't do it. That's not why I'm here. I am not somebody else's mouthpiece. End of chapter. So yeah. So I have thunder nearby, and it's the artillery from military base about 15 miles away. Holy moly! Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, rolling thunder, I think that call, right? But yeah, Single Track says no one wants to see regurgitating badges. No, regurgitating badges would be quite distressful, right? Just like there's the tail. Yeah, that would be bad. So yeah, construction something or other. Yeah, construction vehicle. That's an interesting part. So we'll just go and have a look at that in a second. Do you know what? I suppose I could do this, right? Oh no. Oh, I killed the it's fine. It's fine. I'll find it. But I killed the oh god. Oh, he's broken it. He's broken it. There we go. Let's go back to that one, and then I don't know. Whatever. He's bust it now. So we'll go back to that map. Is what I'm trying to say. Oh, sorry, to the program. But one of the bits that I want to pick up from on that is this bit here, which is explore the fundamentals of crafting and base building, including how enable opportunities for players. So lots about base building, which I didn't think we were going to get, but we are. And then captains of industry. Uncover the ships and ground vehicles that will serve as your primary tools for base building. So construction ground vehicle is going to happen now, which is cool. Revisit a classic, which I'm hoping is some work in progress on the Pioneer. Although, of course, one of the other things is they said they were working on the RSI ship, so it'd be interesting to be working on a consolidated Outland ship. But who knows, right? That might be quite cool. They might have decided they need to rush that in because the Galaxy obviously will have base building as well, but that's not a classic. It's relatively new as concepts go. So yeah, there's that. Shinobi Trip says CSVSM cargo super vroom supply model. I mean, that's as good as guess as anyone else. Synthetic X says, I can listen to Ollie and Forrester read through the telephone book, remember them, but I prefer a more level-headed take on things. Well, Synthetic X, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, I watch a little bit of Forrester. I like watching Ollie because I just like his kind of constant enthusiasm. I think that's kind of cool. Even when it's going wrong for him, he just seems to be quite upbeat about stuff. So yeah. And if he's there, that's going to be really cool as well. But yeah, looks like an 8 SCU flatbed. Interesting. That'll be cool. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, VKB, not Virpil. You're right. Oh, Rash, that's it. They won't let me win now because I said the wrong manufacturer. Oh, gutted. I could have done with some sticks as well. God damn it. Regurgitating badges, so like a rushing nesting doll. Honestly, you got to give it up. Like I said, regurgitating. Like I might have said it a couple of times, but Jesus, no mistake in this tunnel goes unpunished. Tier 0. What about the Atlas Dakar? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an Atlas if it's a Dakar. Titan suit when? Atlas. Done. Completed it, mate. Tier 0 says, you can just switch screens like that without the splash screen. You're ruining my immersion. Oh, I give up. Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah. Badges check Discord, says Rashma. Oh my god. Who's been messaging me here? Whoa. Um, uh, uh, uh. I'm not entirely sure that's the best looking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But I will show this off. So where's this come from, Rash? Where on earth is this monstrosity appeared from? Because yeah, pipeline, data mined. Tom, thanks for coming in, buddy. I take it you're off now. But yeah, good to see you, mate, and you take it easy, bud. 4 to 8 SCU. Yeah, it kind of depends on the size of those spots, doesn't it? Really, I guess, and whether you can stack them. But yeah, interesting, interesting, very interesting. Uh, what do we think? Tractor beam on the back platform overlooking the. Maybe I tell you what would be really cool. It's not Artemis TGM. Welcome in, Pilgrim. Hello. Yeah, it's worse than the Cybertruck. Hang on, Bucky. All right, there's no need to go over the top. Nothing is worse than the Cybertruck. I don't know. I don't know. You know, we've had trolls from them before. I don't know what this is. I really don't know. Yeah. I'll buy one. Says don't matter. Stop it. Stop doing it. Stop buying shit. I can't believe it. Can everyone stop buying ships? Yeah. I sent you the description too. Let's have a look. Okay. Um, the Argo CSV SM Focus Cargo. You've got your plot of land, you've got the right construction materials, and now you're ready to watch your dreams take shape. The ideal companion to the CSFM, the CSV supply model. So we got supply model, and then what's the FM? So supply model SM FM. Don't know. Absolutely do not know. Provides additional storage for all the resources required to build your next settlement. Fabricator model. I like it. Yes. Yeah, it's Artemis, it's a tractor. It's Farming Simulator Star Citizen. Farming Simulator 2955. Confirmed. Heard it here first. Fabricator, like that a lot. I don't know. It's not my thing. I've just decided I'm probably not going to go into base building as a profession. I'll have a base, thanks very much, but I'm not doing it as a profession. If that's what it looks like, you can poke it. That looks like the summer intern turned out something and they forgot to update it. I might be being unfair, but Tratter, yeah, exactly that. Notorious. Where I come from, where I grew up in the UK, it has a reputation for being very agricultural. So over here, you're like, um, get off my land. Your dog be scaring my sheep. Tratter. So it's that. That's what it looks like. It looks like something out of Farming Simulator. At least looks like it needs a combine harvester next to it, pouring grain onto the flatbed. That's what that looks like. 100%. Not a fan. And it might just be the angle, right? That's probably, apart from looking at it from like underneath, that's probably the worst angle this could have been at. But yeah. Also, I mean, what does that fit in? I don't know. Yeah. So that if it's driven by a cute cow with healthy lungs, says Synthetic Egg, count me in. Well, thanks. That's probably lost me all but one of my female audience, and that's because she can't escape. She's in the basement. So yeah, I don't know. Just because I'm an ass, says Chris. Flatbed model. Yeah, Farming Simulator 2955. 100% Rush, that's what we are. Required farming and agriculture. Absolutely. Space JCB, 100%. Yeah. Farming Simulator 2955. Confirmed. But yeah, looks like just the right size to be crushed under the landing gear of my Pioneer. Do you know what? Did anyone see that video? I'll see if I can find it. I'm just going to go and talk. Did anyone see that video of the aircraft that couldn't get its front landing gear down, so it landed on the back of a truck? Anyone see that? Does anyone see where I'm going with this? Is anyone with me? Because yeah, that 100%. I'll see if I can find it in YouTube. While we're talking. Um, yeah, that. Don't worry, I know you can't see it. I'm just about to change over, but you can hear it. So let's mute that. Yeah, there you go. This bit. Yeah. So that, um, you know, to do the whole, yeah, pretty good commercial. That's it. Do you know what? That is it. I'm going to need someone's help, but when we do this, we'll land one of the larger ships on the run, and we'll do it with one of those things. So yeah, that'll be fun. Oh dear, it's just so ugly. Do you know what I mean? It's bad, but I've closed it again, so oh well. That's the end of that. You can't have it anymore. There we go. Reopen. So yeah, an interesting one. I suddenly want to buy a Nissan, says Notorious. Yeah, don't make Toyotas like that anymore. They certainly do not. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 trailer looks cool, says Tier Zero. Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, it's just an old episode of Thunderbirds. $55 minimum, says Artemis. Interesting. I'm definitely not buying it at $55. Stomafoo. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right, but good to see you. Everyone ready for the disappointments? Um, I don't know. Funny enough, Stomafoo. That was exactly what we were talking about. Is that, you know, with the disappointments, there has to be expectation for disappointments. They've not told us. All we've got is what's on that program, right? So all the content creators, and I include myself in this, that are building up, I think it's this and I think it's that, and people go, yeah, it's this, yeah, it's that. That's where the disappointment comes from, because they've not promised anything over and above what they're talking about. So we're going to see some stuff on base building. We're going to see ground vehicles, which is kind of what we think this is, although this is from leaks, it's not official. Um, the problem with a lot of that stuff is that we as a community are very good at hyping ourselves up about stuff that was never promised, and then getting upset when it doesn't materialize because it wasn't promised. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of disappointment that is separate to that, but certainly around CitizenCon. The big thing for me is that they've said that if ever there was a CitizenCon not to miss, it's this one. It's going to be the biggest one yet. And I know that sounds like marketing guff, but historically they've not done that with the other ones. They've always said it. They've always said it's going to be a big celebration. It's going to be great. It's going to be a really big get together. It'll be great to see you there. But they've not used language like that. So either it's a shift in marketing, or there's something in there, which is what I think. I think we're going to get some form of Squadron 42 release date or release window. But yeah, we'll see. I know I've been here since 2011. Yeah, mate, I'm with you. I'm with you, bud. But yeah, I'm going to be like there, so I won't be live streaming. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. But I will be there. So once I'm back, we'll be able to talk about it. And there will obviously be no live stream next Sunday because I won't be here. I will put a reminder on the community tab. But the Sunday afterwards, we will catch up and chat. As long as I'm back by then, and I'm able to talk to you guys. But we shall see. Yeah. So there's that. $55 is the war bond discount. God knows. Would be nice if ships in Star Citizen could taxi and land like IRL planes. Yeah, certainly. There'd certainly be some kind of benefit to that, especially with when they say hover, and they said that atmospheric flight model, hovering ships, the thrusters are going to work a lot harder, and they will reach a point of overheat where they can no longer hover. You imagine that same scenario, but now you've damaged a couple of thrusters, or a couple of your thrusters are inoperative. It's going to make hovering even harder. In those situations, a running landing is more effective. And I'll caveat that with helicopters with wheels rather than skids. Running landings are less stressful on their engines because that forward momentum increases the aerodynamics of the helicopter. If you hang it there, that's when the airframe is working its hardest, and there's no reason why it can't be the same here. So, some sort of running landing or ability to come in like that would be good, especially if you don't die an explosive, horrible, fiery death at the end of it. That would be a bonus, right? But yeah. Were you at this last CitizenCon? Says Artemis. No, it was my body double, just in case I got assassinated. No, I wasn't at the last one, unfortunately. I looked at LA and I was very tempted, especially when I found out the flights from the UK return trip were about £600. It was all the other costs that went with it, and thank God I didn't, because then I had a bunch of other stuff I had to outlay for, which would have been really uncomfortable if I had gone. So, yeah, that's not happened. Cam, what are you doing playing Valheim? Stay and talk to us. God damn it. So Sol Galaxia says, just drop the reward for the Save the Stanton mission. A laser repleter. Interesting. Okay. Badges, where is my ground cleaning vehicle? Says Rash. Oh, the oh god, what's it called? Yeah, the cleaning vehicle they did as an April Fool's that everyone was talking about as what that was going to be. That's why sometimes I get a little bit kind of skeptical when I see stuff coming from leaks. Is like, there's been plenty of times stuff's been leaked and nothing's come of it. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to Spectrum Wars as the high level view they give on Saturday is vague enough for all sides to hate it. I think it confirms their side's view of the game, or think it confirms their side's view of the game. Do you know what? Spectrum gives you the dumb. I wouldn't. It's contagious from Spectrum, unfortunately. I just stay off it. I went on there once. I tried to put a suggestion on, which was funnily enough the removing map coordinates, because then map data becomes a data running commodity that needs to be uploaded, and you can take back your org can have computers where you can synchronize your data to it, and you can share it locally. But if you're 3 systems away, you either broadcast the data, or you and risk it being intercepted, or you run it slower with something like a herald. But then you have to be physically intercepted, and basically the reaction was, no, we want everything immediately right now. How dare you suggest? How dare you suggest they remove a basic function? Map coordinates on rotating planets that are themselves going to be revolving around their star. I don't think that's as simple as people think it's going to be. But okay, whatever. But yeah. Sorry, Can. I called you out there. Yeah, the Raptor. That's the one. Yeah, I called you out. It's almost piped down here. I hope Monday, Tuesday, mate. All the best with your continued training. Best of luck, bud. And thank you very much for taking the time to drop in. Good luck, shippers. It's all good. Yeah. So only 4 ships to be released as flyable from promised last CitCon. Yeah, there was a few. There was the Crusader. Was it the starter ship? Which I've heard tell might be called the Intrepid. There's the Mirai Guardian, which is the Fat Fury. Thank God I got that one right. Yeah, there's all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. We'll see about the rest of it, but yeah. And obviously, a couple of other ships that we can expect very, very soon. Hopefully, the Polaris, I would imagine that might go surprise live with, or very shortly after 4.0, because it just seems to be a really good way of ringing that in. We can hope, right? But yeah, usually unannounced ships released or sold, Pilgrim, so don't worry. Yeah, honestly, it's just less tedious than flying post-master modes. 100%. Yeah. And Star Stuff says probably only one ship straight to fireball at CitizenCon. Rest will be IAE predictions, not expectations. 100%. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I imagine there'll be stuff potentially around the base building. Depending on when that's coming. That would be my big guess, I think, for this one. Because looking at the program elsewhere, I don't think it's as obvious to me from this what else we can rely on coming out. It's not as obvious. So yeah. Arduous, I've got to be careful saying things like that because YouTube will think about talking things about that I'm not talking about, and then demonetize me and or shadow ban me. So I'm not going to say those words. But you're right. Synthetic X says a mid-sized salvage ship from Argo. Another take my money please moment. Yeah. So there's a really interesting. Is it the Misk Fortune? And if me saying like that doesn't give you a hint, let me say it quicker. The misfortune. The misfortune. The misfortune. Just, to me, it's either, I think that's either another, god tier troll from CIG, or it's the most unfortunate naming in the history of Star Citizen. But yeah, exactly that, Dark Matter. So I'm not I'm not buying that at the minute. If it comes as in, I'm not buying that it's actually a thing. We saw something from Misk, didn't we, or something that was very Misk-like in a teaser a while back. I can't put my hands on it right now, but there was some sort of teaser. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's not April 1st. Well, I mean, possibly, but even then, I mean, it wouldn't be beyond them to not troll a little bit. So yeah, I'm not buying into the whole misfortune stuff. It's just not. That's not where I am. But yeah, they truly can outdo themselves every single time with ship nomenclature. Yeah, and that was the interesting thing, right? It was like the Crucible would have been better as the refining ship. Although I'm pretty sure that when the Crucible came around, they didn't even realize they were going to do refining as a thing. So the Expanse sounds more like a exploration ship than a refining ship, and so on and so forth. But yeah, there's that. Also, calling the Perseus a frigate was a mistake because the Idris is a frigate. The Perseus is not. The truly, yeah. So that's that. Okay, so let's switch back across. And I've clicked entirely the wrong thing, which I didn't mean to do. So yeah, the we've had the Evo playtest. We've talked about that. 4.0 went to Evo for about 3 hours. Didn't have everything enabled, but hopefully they got the data from that they needed to. The fact that we've even seen it as part of a what do they call it? We've seen it as part of a test right now. Gives me a higher level of confidence that we're going to see some of Pyro, hopefully by the end of the year. I would imagine it will probably go to test at the end of the year, and then we'll see it first part next. I didn't ever want to say that. I was really hoping, if you remember me a while back saying, I was really hoping we were going to see it before CitizenCon, and obviously that's not happening now. But yeah, the good news is that we got there with what the key thing that I wanted, which is I wanted CitizenCon to be about more than just more pyro. I wanted to know what was past Pyro, and we've got that literally in their own words. We're going to see what comes afterwards in terms of the game. So I'm pleased. I want to know what happens next. Whether it is, as everyone's predicting, the connection of everything from Squadron 42, or whether they're going to blindside us with something else. Maybe it is another system that they go, hey, it's been so long going server meshing in, ta-da, nix, or whatever. That would be really cool. Road to Pyro all over again, please no. What's really funny, Rash, is on my screen, the new was cut off, so all I saw was Road to Pyro all over again, please. So if that happens, Rash, it's now your fault. Just so you know, you spoilt it for everyone. Hang your head in shame, sir. But yeah, misc opportunity, says Artemis. 100%. That's that. The whole misc naming thing is just like, just have at it. There are so many good ones. Misc de point, says Dark Matter. 100%. Misc Informer. Yep, absolutely. Why was the Ironclad not named Galleon and save the Ironclad for a warship? Yeah, I mean, you're right, absolutely. Although if a manufacturer was going to do that, it would be Drake, right? It would 100%. Sorry, I've just spotted a spider. I don't like spiders. But yes. So yeah, the next tech preview tests are on 4.0 as well. Yeah, 100% Jadomo. And that's more confidence, I think, that we are in fact getting to that stage. And so apologies to Stanton Logistics and Security, because I spoke about this on his Discord earlier on today. Let's have a bit of a heart-to-heart, shall we? And talk about a little bit about my fears for the project and how some of it has been allayed recently. I don't know about you, server meshing for me was one of those things that I started hearing it and it sounded like fairy tale, right? It sounded like Cloud Cuckoo Land. The idea that you could spin these servers up and have them all running and being able to interact with each other whilst you're on different servers, to me just sounded like pie in the sky, but promising enough that I was willing to put some money in. And then I started putting money into the project, and I was like, do you know what? I'm enjoying this enough that I want to buy a Connie Taurus or a Connie, because at least at that time, that was the ship I was like, oh my god, I must own this ship. It was it was enough for me. I said, do you know what? If the project doesn't make it, at least I've owned it. I've flown it around the verse. I've had that experience, and that's that. And that's how I've justified a lot of my purchases. To myself, is I want to do that, and I would, if the project suddenly shut up tomorrow, I would be sad that I hadn't done it, and that's how I've justified putting money into it. Right. For me, server meshing was that. Do you know what? If they don't get that right, this thing can't work. And I'm really worried that they don't get it working, because it sounds so fantastical that maybe it doesn't ever work. To see now these server meshing tests happen, to have seen that demo at CitizenCon last year, to see them working through that, and to see them getting closer to Pyro with the test branch, as Jadomo said, with this recent Evocati test, even though it was 2 to 3 hours and most of it was shut off, most of the functionality was shut off. To see them making those strides towards server meshing puts me more at ease with the whole idea of server meshing. It sounded like some mad scientist's idea it was like the alchemist stone. We're going to turn lead into gold. Yeah, that never happened. And it was like that. It was like, I don't think you can ever pull this off. But I don't know nothing about coding. Like, I've got no network experience whatsoever. I can plug stuff into a network. I can take a cable, put it in the back of the PC, and plug it into a router or a switch. I can do that. And that's where my knowledge stops, right? If the IPs conflict, I need to talk to someone to get some help. So the idea that this server meshing might not work has kind of been in the back of my mind the whole time. And I've just been thinking, I'm gonna see. We'll see if we get there. I really hope that they can pull it off. And to see that last CitizenCon was incredible. And I was on stream with you guys, so you guys saw it. To see the tests working now is great. To be able to be part of that as part of my first experience in Pyro when it goes to live, because that's as we said before, it's the first time I'm touching it. I'm really excited. But for me, that technology potentially is limitless. The limits on that technology will be more about people's internet connections, people's, and because they can't build for like the top 2% of internet connection, because you're not going to survive as a game on 2% of internet connections and then hope that some of those are Star Citizen fans, right? You've got to go with a much more widespread appeal and work on their internet connection speeds. It's going to be limited by stuff like that, but there is no reason they can't have hyper detailed locations to the detail of other games. There's no reason that landing zones can't in time become as explorable as places like the city in Grand Theft Auto, right? Because you just have a server running the landing zone. And you can have as many entities in that landing zone as the rest of the Stanton system combined, which is mental when you think about it, if you've got these servers working as they are. So, I've got to say that there's a whole bunch of reasons it's taken as long as it has, and I get the frustrations, and I'm not saying you're wrong for being frustrated if you're feeling like that or if you've ever felt like that. But we have to bear in mind that when this project was first pitched, there were 11 people working out of Chris Roberts' basement, and 3 of those weren't developers. Right? And you can look on Cloud Imperium Games' website, you can look at their financials, and you can see over years, you can see in 2011, 2012, there were 11 of them. And now you can see there's over 900 people. To give you an idea, to give you a comparison, Rockstar, when they built GTA 5 all those years ago, they had 600 people working in one of their studios, and their entire job, their only responsibility, they weren't working on games, was to maintain and update their game engine. The game engine that was then adapted for GTA 5 and has since been adapted for Red Dead 2 and is now being adapted for GTA 6. 600 people on the game engine. It took CIG almost a decade to get past 600 people in their organization. So it's not just a game that they're building, it's a studio as well. They've had to build the company from the ground up. So when people say 700 mil, they make it sound like it's 700 mil to an established game company that's got hundreds of staff who were just waiting for the money to start developing an MMO. And that's not true. So yeah, it's kind of good on that front. So yeah, we're to a MISC concept JPEG, 100%. MISC take new salvage. See, I told you there was loads of things on that. So yeah, it's unsustainable. Sorry, I missed what that was on about, but all that stuff. Sorry, I don't get what that's in relation to, is what I'm saying. Had sharding on a 2D plane that they were just scaling it up. Yeah, so the key thing here is it's not shards. They're all the same thing, right? So it's shards are copies of the same environment. They're not. They're running in tandem and they interact with each other in real time. And other games don't do that. Not at this level of fidelity. So yeah, it's interesting that. So yeah, that's my name, bro. Don't diss the Philosopher's Stone. I wouldn't dream of it. I'm really enjoying the Taurus now. It's so versatile. Yeah, funny enough, I don't think I've flown the Taurus around much since they put the tractor beam in it. But I will go back to her because she's good fun. I do like my. Can the Taurus transport a Spartan? No, too high, too wide, I think. So Spartan won't fit. Busy Betico. Dude, I'm really sorry if I've just butchered the pronunciation of your name. I really hope I didn't. But Busy Betico says, yeah, one more nail in the coffin for the 400i. Talking about Shadow Girl's comment about the removal of components. The 400i, supposed to be an Explorer, had redundant components, duplicated components, so that if one broke when you were out, you would have the extra components to use, because of course in exploration you're expecting to be farther from help than you otherwise might be, and yeah, it seems to make the 400i a questionable choice at the moment. But yeah, when you can rationalize a thing, it becomes believable. When it becomes believable, it's real. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me, Dark Matter, is when I can understand it, or when I can see it working. I'm very much I'm a literal person. I need to see things working. Things like bungee jumping, anything like that. I'm terrified the first time because I see it working on other people, but I don't have the experience of it working for me. Once I've done it, it's fine. I'll throw myself off bungee platforms all day, but I've got to do it once, and that time I'll be like, there will be a lot of fear until I've proved that it works. But that's me through and through. Yeah, so they've had to wait for tech to be improved. It's not limited so much by Starlink. It's going to be very accessible after 2025. Yeah, exactly that. There's all sorts of. I think that's the problem now with tech is it's not so much going to be, do we have the computers that can do it? It's going to be the the network infrastructure that we don't have control over. It's not just a get good scrub, go buy yourself a better graphics card. This is for all the money in the world, you can't go out and force a phone company to run a network cable, a high speed internet cable into the middle of rural buttfuck nowhere. You just can't do it. Yeah, and I'm against ruling out large parts of populations because through no fault of their own, they don't have access to a decent internet connection. I'm not saying you can't do it, but if they're still on dial-up, that you're unlucky. But you've got to be, I think they've got to be a little bit realistic. Yeah. So there's that. Biggest is an RSS Pilgrim. Yeah, absolutely. I think the Rock DS will fit in as well. But yeah, the obviously the links things will fit in. But yeah. Offline mode is a must-have for when player counts drop and new releases of other games. Yeah, I mean, for Star Citizen at the moment, yes, because we don't have the NPCs floating around other than missions. When the universe gets up to where they want it to be, there'll be NPC ships and all that sort of stuff just flying around, not part of missions, just getting on their daily business that we might be able to interact with as part of a mission, or go and pirate or go and help, all that sort of stuff. So it'll be a lot like being in a single player game. There'll be a lot of opportunities to get involved in. That's the benefit over games like Eve, where there is no AI side to speak of other than specific events or specific areas, because without players, there's nothing in that universe. There's a couple of AI bad guys, but there's no corporation. The economy grinds to a halt. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I've just seen the word flat earthers in chat, and I just need to know who to ban. Yeah. So I wonder how many are still in that basement. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Not no one that's still living. Tier 0. Wouter says nobody ever believed Elon Musk could catch rockets after they did today. That was incredible footage. In fact, I'll go and find that because if no one's seen that, that's just incredible to watch while we chat, and probably far prettier to look at than my face. In fact, there is no probably about it. It's more pretty to look at than my face. So give me a second. So I'm just gonna transition you across. There you go. So just while we're talking, so this was the chopsticks maneuvers. They said basically the top bit goes and catches the booster as it lands. So it's about 4 minutes. So we'll just talk it through as it plays. But yeah, incredible footage, and just crazy, crazy levels of science that we can only hope to achieve. I'm going to mute it because I can hear it in my headset, and it's putting me off. So yeah. I'm not getting into the flat earth thing. It's just silly. Cell phone games make far more than that in a week, so 500 million is nothing in the big picture. Should we be further along? I'd hope so, but it is what it is. We have it so close. Yeah, what's really interesting, and I think this is worth considering as well, is that Star Citizen is a game, but that's not all they're building. Star Citizen looks like, in effect, a universe simulation. Why else would you put in things like bedsheet deformation tech and all that sort of stuff, and like Quanta and the whole economy thing? They are building not just a game, but a whole universe. and simulating that as much as they can. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Shadow Girl, stop it! That just why would you reference that with bungee jump? So I'm never going bungee jumping again. Thank you. Oh, okay. Busy in that case. Don't worry about the pronunciation. It's a reference to The Expanse. I'm going to probably upset a lot of people now. I've not watched The Expanse yet. It's on the list, but I've not seen it yet. So yeah, I will catch up. But oops. Socially, this is the booster rocket that was caught today by the SpaceX Corporation. It was mentioned in chat, so I thought we'd just bring it in. But yeah, they actually caught the booster rocket in flight with chopsticks on the platform. It basically lands back on it. So yeah, I knew that. I'm just going to scroll up in chat a bit so I don't have to watch you guys bitching about me not having seen it. But yeah, this is just incredible. Yeah, what's incredible is that this is falling to earth at like 2,000 kilometers an hour, and then obviously is slowing down massively now. But you watch this. This is incredible. But it's going to land back on the tower. What the fuck is that? Look at it. Clink. Caught it. Science. The level of just sheer sciencing and mathing that went into that is breathtaking. That is a hell of an achievement by anyone's book. Whatever you think about the guy, that is incredible. So yeah, just mental. Yeah. Did the spaceship part land okay? No, it exploded on re-entry, but at least the booster rocket's fine. Um, hey, Shrap, good to see you, buddy. Sucks the rocket didn't do any cool flips. I mean, the last time it did cool flips, it ended in fiery death. So maybe not that. And also, in the nicest possible way, I'm not watching shit on the US election. You guys are crazy enough as it is without me weighing in. But yeah. Um, So just catching up with stuff. I think if you understand the cost of employees, salaries, healthcare costs, facilities costs, and so on, you realise SC is not a scam. Overly enthusiastic, maybe not a scam, 100%. I like how the Expanse, the show, has different groups of people that feel realistic. Nice. Yeah, sorry about that. Having not seen it, I guess I'm just going to have to catch up. Thank you, Del. I appreciate that, mate. I'm gonna do something for you in a minute. But yes. Oh my god, I hit chat and now I can't get it back. There we go. After sitcom, be prepared to protect Stankin, says Ape in Space. Ape in Space, good to see you, bud. And I love the name, by the way. Ape in Space is just great. But yes, be prepared to protect Stanton, absolutely. And if you're around on Fridays at 9 p.m. UK time, it's about 20 to 11 UK time now, just as a comparison. So about an hour and 40 minutes ago, we all to get together in the Discord. Links in the description, hopefully. I think I put it in there. I hope I put it in there. We get together, we get in voice, we chat, we drink, we rant about our weeks. We make loads of inappropriate jokes. But it would be lovely to see you guys in that, and we'll get some big event going. But depending on what everyone's in the mood for, and however many there are of us, we've had some significantly sized groups going to do different stuff. So it's been good fun. It's even better when I've had a week where I'm not knackered because I can actually sit there and talk to people, as opposed to just kind of sit here and just watch it all happen. But yeah, that's that. Starship had water landing and exploded, so no. But the booster was what they planned. Yeah, 100%. Stop thinking of a video game that's more than that. Yeah. I mean, it's still going to be a game, and that's what people are buying it for. But they are building something that I think they're going to just keep adding to. And that game, they're going to keep adding to it, and they're going to keep developing it, and they're going to keep expanding it until the company runs out of money, goes bust, or shuts the project down. But I think we're going to get like to tier 37 Planet Tech and all that sort of stuff. They're just going to keep going and adding and developing. So yeah, the Spirits engine sounds like those Raptor engines. What, the Raptor, as in the garbage disposal vehicle. So Busy, Rash, Blamsmith, all very upset at me that I haven't seen Expanse. Yeah, oops. So yeah. T-Jack says, I've been saying this for a while now. SC could really partner with NVIDIA and bring a living, breathing world, no shortcuts. I hope to see it one day, preferably with SC first. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I really like the idea of is they want to, they pledged to bring VR support to the game, and they did do it for a while, and then they gave up because every time they patched something, they broke it. So like, hey, we're just going to do this at the end rather than constantly having to fix it, and that's cool. But yeah, I really like the idea of being able to sit there and kind of looking to your left and right and looking at your wingmen as you and ladies as you're flying, and being able to look around and look down at the cockpit and see the settings on the, on the dashboard, on your HUD and that sort of stuff. I think that's going to be really, really cool. Yeah, so really, it's kind of ridiculous how far rockets have come in the last few years since AV. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, major star stuff. Agreed. Disgusted by the guy, but this is impressive. 100%. Okay, so I'm not getting into the whole Elon thing. Stop it. No, 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 no. Too much real life. But yeah, because the thing here, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant just very quickly. DGP is about bringing people together, right? That's all it's ever been since well before I started content. The whole point of me creating the server, DGP, came about because we were going to LAN events in the UK, about 2,000 people a time, and they said, "What's your outfit?" If you want to sit together, you had to come up with like a clan name, and we came up with a couple of clan names. My first one, because I was young, dumb, and didn't really think about it, I went, "Oh, wouldn't it be really cool if we were called Shadow Squadron?" Until someone pointed out that you had to shorten that to SS, and that was probably a really shit idea. So we didn't do that, unsurprisingly. Um, yeah, right. But DGP is always about bringing people together. We're all gamers. We're all here for the love of the game. We are all here to enjoy it. And I don't care who you are, who you love, what you look like, what skin color you have, what party you support. I don't care. We're gamers and we come here together. People can debate and people can do all of that sort of stuff, but I'm not interested in that. Gaming, internet gaming especially, brings people together, and CitizenCon is going to prove this. We've got someone coming across from America. We've got people coming across from Denmark. We would have had people coming across from further afield, and from different locations. Unfortunately, that's not worked out for them, and that's a shame. But we're going to meet up with the info runners from Australia. We've got people coming from the Far East. Morphologist lives and works out there. We've got all this stuff. Gaming's great. It brings people together, and you just meet people from other walks of lives, and it stops people doing stupid shit to other people. It's really hard to dislike people from a country when you game and you're friends with someone from that country because you know that they're humans just like you. So I'm not interested in that stuff. DGP is all about people coming together, enjoying fun games together, and having beer and being silly. And of course, we will always make inappropriate jokes and stuff like that. I don't like ruling that stuff out because, for me, that's how you express appreciation for stuff is joking about it. And the good stuff doesn't need to be joked about because it's already good. It already makes you happy and makes you smile. Being able to smile and being able to laugh about the shit stuff, there's nothing more powerful than that. If life throws the worst that it possibly can at you and you laugh at it, like, it's got nothing left. It can't hurt you. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now and stop banging that drum. But this is all about bringing people together, and I love that you guys are here. I'm getting all emotional now, but I love that you guys are here. yeah, and this is why I do this, um, and that's why the ads are off and all that sort of stuff, because it's all about us just having a really good conversation. So yeah, I really wish SC enabled Linux, says Matthew. Ugh, honestly, so Matthew is also known as Luna in our Discord, just so you know who we're talking about. So yes, and for some reason always mentions sheep. Nothing to do with the fact that he's Welsh, I'm sure. The only thing I hope for next year, says Wouter, is stability, and more stability, and hopefully a lot of actual fun gameplay. No more excuses now that meshing is almost complete. Yeah, they're always going to break things until we get all the features in. They're going to break things, but it should be getting better. And I think there are going to be times when server meshing breaks completely. I wouldn't mind betting that we get another 318-esque patch at some point, because there's just so many unknowns. And, breaking server meshing, it's not just like breaking part of the game. You break the whole thing and how it communicates. So it's going to happen. I think just being prepped for that and being able to walk away from it when you're not enjoying it. Just step away from it and give it some time. So yeah, CR does theory crafting. Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'm really sorry because I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to go with Schlagzahn. I'd rather they add stuff until they meet the goal of what they need to add stability as secondary. Yeah, it's they'll get around to the bug fixing and the balance and the everything else, but where you're still putting stuff in, there's very little point. Perfecting shields and penetration at this moment is completely pointless because we've got Maelstrom and the armor system still to be added. So why spend all that time perfecting it now when you know you're just going to overwrite it later? I'd much rather, as Schlagzahn's saying, do just get to the point where we've got Maelstrom in rather than muck around with it endlessly. Yes, they've still got to do little bits to it now and kind of set the stage, but yeah, stability is just not going to happen massively at this point. Never get political on your show. 100% single track. Absolutely. Wafu. Yeah, I mean, that's not quite what that stands for. Wafu's wet and effing useless. But yeah, that's the naval slang for aircrew. Wafu. Wet and fucking useless. They'll say that it's weapon and fuel user, but they're wrong. So yeah, I'm not a gamer. I'm here for the simulation, but I like the community here. Duck, I'm really pleased, and yeah, whatever it is, gamer simulation. As long as you got people here that you enjoy it and you feel at home, then I'm a happy boy. Are you suggesting gamers really don't care about politics and only a gaming? No, they can care about politics as much as they want. They can just do it elsewhere. So yeah, I'm not gonna ooh Americans, says Blamsmith. Yeah, no, let's not go down that road. So that's that. Um, yeah. So yeah, and this is the thing, right? Is that we need to not be so judgmental. I think when we look at stuff, don't get me wrong. It's people. There's two sides to every story. I think most people are in the middle when it comes to politics and stuff like that. No matter how much they might think they lean one side or the other. I like to think that generally we've all got the same goals in mind. Synthetic X says, yes, a Coloradan here, and we'd like to ask you to add cannabis to your channel name. No. So here's a weird one then, just to go off on a complete tangent. Never tried anything like that, because of course during my time in the Navy, compulsory drug testing is a thing. I actually had 1 year where I was compulsory drug tested 3 times in a year because I went from a ship to a training establishment to another ship, and in all of those locations I was compulsory drugs tested. Yeah, and it would be an instant dismissal. One blunt would just that would be it. That would be my career over. So I've never tried it, and I just never had the urge. I have my vices. I have this. I have gaming. Obviously, I have food. That's enough for me. I don't need any other ways to spend money, waste time, screw myself over. So yeah. Linux support would be good, says Dell. Perhaps when Vulkan works better. Yeah, 100%. Anything to get more people in the game and to open it up to more people has my vote in terms of the tech side of things. Artex, hello, bud. CIG going to hype up 1.0 and people will think it's coming soon when devs have already mentioned 4.1 after 4.0. No way 1.0 comes in less than 2 years. Yeah, I think it's a good point to mention that we need to be careful about the road to release in 1.0. And what that's going to look like. It's going to be interesting to see their aspirations and what they think that's going to look like. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that includes most or all of what they talked about originally, plus some of the obvious extra bits that they added, and how many systems they think they're going to get in. Because I think that's been a big debate. I've seen some people say 5 to 7. I've seen other people say they won't consider it done until we get all 100. In fact, I think it's another helicopter. Plane? Helicopter? Whatever that is. So yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they get, but the important thing here is that, dynamic server meshing will be the next big tech milestone for us. The addition of Quanta will be a very big tech milestone. But, they're obviously seeing 1.0 as their next big hurdle. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. Maelstrom is when you're going to see rebar frame Lego blocks where you spray on RMC to make the structure. Interesting. You ever hear the old saying, you are what you eat, says Master Trollius. In that case, I am lots of unhealthy things. Which I think most people will agree with. So yeah, theory holds. Wooter says, I agree to the point that they're already talking 1.0, which is supposed to be commercial release. If not stable gameplay and persistence, then what? So, Wooter, what they've talked about from time immemorial is that every game is going to have they're going to continue with the cycle. So every patch, every quarter, there will be a patch. And that will just continue on and Ariston. So yeah, they're just going to keep adding to the game. They're just going to keep adding ships. They're going to keep adding gameplay loops. They're going to keep adding systems. They're going to keep expanding things. They're going to keep adding missions and functionality and blah. It's just going to keep going. We're obviously going to get pauses or slowdowns where they switch to. We now know Squadron 42 is going to be episodic, so we're going to get episode 2, episode 3. We might even see more on that front. There might be work to port it over to console. I know Daily Noob, who streams on Twitch. Go and see his channel, by the way. I will link it, or if someone could link it for me, that would be great. But Daily Noob streams over on Twitch, and he certainly seems to think it's going to go to console, if I remember rightly. Wow, that's a name. Marcus Frank No Dragon Kumich. Hello. You don't want black and white. You want all the grey in between in a way they can coexist, even if they dislike each other. 100%. Agreed. Do you think Port Olisar is the classic returning and by being built by players in space? No. I think I think what they're referring to there, and this is just a guess, is the Pioneer. I think Olisar is dead. Maybe it'll appear somewhere else, but I think it's dead for the time being. So yeah, Master Trollius says, look to me like you've been eating a lot of poop soup. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. That's yeah, good. Fantastic. Well done. Shadyface says, backers' expectations for 1.0 and Chris Roberts' plans for it are going to be different and are going to be some angry people after that panel. Yeah, and that's what we've got to go back to in terms of, people, expectations versus predictions. What did they promise? We've got to remember that all we're doing is we are putting kind of our own expectations into a game, and that's that. So yeah, we'll see. Everything is better with beer, says Jadomo. 100%. Stick to beer badges, says Single Track. I will. Yeah. So Matthew says, one of the lads I knew loved poppy seed buns, and it flagged him. Had to do an advanced drugs test. Yeah. What was really interesting was we did an absinthe night when I was at the RAF mess in Akrotiri. We had a night drinking absinthe, and we actually had to put our names down and have it signed by the GP. Oh, sorry, our medical, our Air Force doctor. And if your name wasn't on the list, you couldn't come in because absinthe has trace amounts of hallucinogen in it, which shows up in a military drug test. So we had to actually, so because it's not illegal to consume, they couldn't stop us doing it. But you had to report that you'd done it because if you were CDT'd, it would show up as a hallucinogen and you could effectively lose your job over it. So yeah, I signed up for it and then something happened, I couldn't go. So I ended up not doing it, but my name was on the list anyway. So yeah. Yeah, former combat engineer here after Afghanistan. I saw about 3 or 4 people get kicked out after a drugs test. On the army, it's 100% you get kicked out. Yeah, 100%. Still, we've got a zero tolerance policy as well. So yeah, it is that, you know, which is interesting, I guess, because we're still allowed to consume alcohol. But again, drunk on duty is a very much the same thing. Yeah, totally agree. By the way, says Synthetic Ek. I bet my son could lose £75 if he would give up cannabis. I did, and so did he. Yeah, uh, something's happened, and I'm not going to go into it because it's personal and it's not for the stream. But something's happened recently, not to me, that's made me think that maybe I need to just do a little bit to, trim up a little. So that's going to happen. That's on the plan of things to do. So we're going to get there. They need dynamic server meshing and toilet gameplay. Toilet gameplay. When give toilet gameplay? So strap my face. 100%. I agree with you. Artec, take any and all projections CIG make with a bucket of salt. Enjoy the show and what's to come, but don't expect anything at any date or time. They say. Yeah, I think that's it, right? And they themselves will tell you that. That Chris Roberts at the beginning of the last one. This is not a promise. Disco Lando, every single time, this is not a promise. This is not a promise. They keep telling us that to the point where they had to take the long distance view of the roadmap away because there were just so many changes. Go play other stuff. Check back in whenever it suits you, or play it to death. Whatever works, but it's that. So yeah. Olisar is in Pyro as a table. Interesting. Possibly. Toilet gameplay for 1.0, says Synthetic Ek. I would be satisfied, although there is inconsistency in the direction of toilet paper rolls in game that is troubling. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with you. But yeah, that's it. I think 1.0 will start out as beta. Yeah, I mean, the idea being that, 1.0 is what they consider a commercial release. But to us, it's going to look no different because it's just going to keep going. The question is, what features do they want in? How many systems do they want in? Do they want the game to look like at that stage? Because at that stage, then, the focus will 100% shift. And that's when we're expecting everything that they add to be something like, I don't know, something to be stable before it comes in. So at the moment, we accept stuff coming in and it breaks the game, and it's like, whatever. At that point, it's like, no, stuff that comes in must work, it must be balanced, there must be bug fixes, the focus needs to be on keeping the game playable, on not breaking things. So that's going to be the switch from pre 1.0 to 1.0. And obviously, you're going to see that a bit before as well, because it will be polishing it ready for 1.0. But yeah, absolutely that. CitizenCon generates hype to make big sales at IEE a month later, says Artec. Yeah, it definitely generates hype, which I'm sure won't hurt the sales, but of course it's not so much about the ships because they'll either go on sale at that time or we don't tend to see too much of them. Although the Polaris last year, I think, was pretty well received. So yeah, you're not wrong. Hang on. Oh, Blamsmith. So the ship on the shipbuilding bit. Saying the Pioneer is a classic is frustrating as it's still a concept. Yeah, so that's what I think. So it's what it's talking about there, and I'll see if I can go back to it. I've got to make the sound effects because I haven't added them myself yet. So yeah, the ships and ground vehicles that will serve as your primary tools for the base building and the verse, revisit a classic and more. So captains of industry, that's not a carrack. So I doubt it is that, if that's what you're referring to. But yeah, the only classic thing in base building that we have is sorry, I've completely lost the name of my brain. My brain not braining. This is the Pioneer. Of course, it says industry, it's not the base building, so it might be something like the Orion. It might be one of the other industry ships. It doesn't have to be a base building ship. Good point. Yeah, so it might be the Orion, bearing in mind that we've got, mining in now, refining. There's lots of stuff that could go that route, shall we say. Yeah. So Artemis, Forum Assault Pioneer here, and I just want to play my space game and chill in my luxury apartment on Terra. Absolutely. And hopefully you'll be able to do that, bud. So yeah, Pioneer is a concept ship. How is it a classic? I think that's what they're talking about, is that by classic, I think they mean old thing. I'm not entirely sure they mean released ship. Because that whole thing there, uncover the ships and ground vehicles that will serve as your primary tools for base building. It seems to talk about things that are coming in the future. So I have a feeling there the revisit a classic will be something that's been a concept ship for a very long time. Could be the Crucible with repair coming up. Right? So yeah. Meanwhile, the Canadian soldiers spuff away. Really, is it? So it's not illegal for them? That'd be cool. Badgers try Beat Saber. No. Go away. Nobody needs to see me dancing or anything near that. Rash Model says that 40k Space Marine 2 is keeping me entertained. Whenever 4.0 comes around, I'll be back in force. So, I've spent this weekend moving things around. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks' time, I will be able to show you what I've done in here. A third of this room is going to be used for my streaming, and there's going to actually be a background. I'm building a wall of displate stuff, all based on gaming and that. And then the other 2/3 of this room is going to be given over to my Warhammer and that sort of stuff, with a gaming table and all that. So I will take you on a tour when it's all done, and hopefully you'll like it. But yes, yeah. Drake branded bucket for toilet gameplay tier 0, 100%. Agreed. Space bidets, no, not in zero grav. That's a really bad idea. Don't do that. Synthetic X rotates between No Man's Sky, Star Citizen, Starfield, and a little Space Engineers. Funnily enough, I've just dug out my Starfield Constellation Edition, and I'm charging the smartwatch as we speak. So yeah, because I've not worn it yet, but I'm going to give it a go. Helps with my emotional balance, but I'm still a crap pilot. Mate, you and me both. Polaris is going to get a price bump the next time it's on sale. They sold it the last time, it would be $750. So predictions. Well, that's interesting, right? Because does that mean that if it's not out by IAE, does that mean it's going to get the launch price bump at IAE and then not go up when it's actually launched, or will it be sold at $750? Because surely they're not going to put it up twice. I mean, they might, but that would be a shitty move. So yeah, Wouter, I'm going to cover your question and then I'm going to skim over everything else, but we are now pretty much out of time. So very quickly, I'm just going to go over that. What would you most likely think we'll get after the Galaxy next year? The larger ship sizes apparently want the Kraken, Ironclad, and Odyssey. You're not going to like this. So after the Galaxy, we're getting the Perseus, and then is it the Arastra? So we're getting Polaris, Galaxy, Perseus, because they're working on the RSI line of ships. They've confirmed this. So there's that. Single track. Good to see you, bud. Go get yourself some rest, and I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Take care, bud. Good. Thank you very much for dropping in. Yeah. So it's going to be the Perseus. It's going to be Galaxy Perseus after the Polaris, and then we'll see from there. They have said in the recent PU report, they said that they are working on a new lineup of ships. So it might be Misk, it might be the Kraken and the Ironclad, so it might be Drake. don't know, but they're trying to do them in batches as manufacturers to use that design language and like people being used to doing that stuff. So that'll be cool. Maybe a Connie with a BB module. Or is it a BB-8? Bed and breakfast. Was it announced 8 years ago? That's pretty classic, says Bob-Kit. Yeah, 100%. Lore-wise, Pioneer is one of the newest cap ships. But yeah. Loving Space Marine 2, says Tier Zero, 100%. Give Anvil cap, says Shinobi. Yeah, good luck with that. That's been coming since forever. So that's it. 100%. Ladies and gents, it's been really good seeing you this evening. Thank you ever so much. If you wouldn't mind, like and subscribe. If you're not already, I'd really appreciate it. But thank you very much for stopping by. It's been good to see you all. Like I said, no live stream next week because of CitizenCon. I won't be around for Friday Night Ops, but if you want to jump into the Discord, if you're not there, please do, and hopefully we'll make a guest appearance from Bar Citizen in the Discord just for you guys to say hello. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.